increases power.
Why is Zuckerberg, Bloomberg asked, Reuters asked, the Washington Post even asked, why is Zuckerberg so relaxed about UK online speech rules? And it goes on to say it's going to end free speech, but it's going to give him monopoly control. It's going to give him liability control. He doesn't need Section 230 anymore to say he's not a publisher. He can be a publisher and control content and be given liability protection, something all the thousands of newspapers and TV stations, including InfoWars, won't have, but he'll have. This is big tech eating journalism.
InfoWars, tomorrow's news today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the verboten broadcast for a reason. We'll tell the truth no matter how hard and let the chips fall where they may. Did you know that President Trump is engaging in treason? Did you know that President Trump is selling out America, the West, our sovereignty, the Renaissance, and the great hope we have to try to lead the planet in a good direction towards a pro-human future that goes beyond the stars? That's right, President Trump is dealing a death blow to not just our country, but to free peoples all over the world. President Trump is allowing the destruction of the internet. In fact, even mainline news says this will kill the open and free internet as we know it. I'm going to show you news articles admitting that. I'm going to show you even the head EU bureaucrats admitting it. I'm going to show you Russia talking about it. I'm going to show you the inventor of the internet talking about it. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not going to sit here and give Trump a bunch of accolades about the great job he's done on 100 fronts. That's good. And I believe Trump means well and has incredible stamina and is amazing. But that said, yeah, he signed an executive order a few weeks ago to cut and dry the campuses, the state-funded colleges, public-funded colleges. They're not allowed to discriminate against speech or politics or race or anything. And Trump says, we're going to strip your federal funds if you do that. That's good. But let me tell you something. I've been watching this. I've been tracking this, Mr. President. And if you don't do this, everything else goes out with the bathwater. Remember 4 years ago, 7 days before Obama gives away the internet and national security. That's Forbes. Now, they didn't give total control of ICANN and the domain names and the registries to the UN, but they gave partial control. They made a deal. So, see, does Trump know this is happening? Probably not. But see, the deal was made, and now they're just going along with the original deal, even though the U.S. didn't completely sign on to it. If you go back and review the deal Obama had 4 or 5 years ago, it's the exact plan. And that's why we come to these articles. Why is Zuckerberg, Bloomberg asked, Reuters asked, the Washington Post even asked, why is Zuckerberg so relaxed about UK online speech rules? And it goes on to say it's going to end free speech, but it's going to give him monopoly control. It's going to give him liability control. He doesn't need Section 230 anymore to say he's not a publisher. He can be a publisher and control content and be given liability protection, something all the thousands of newspapers and TV stations, including InfoWars, won't have, but he'll have. This is big tech eating journalism. That's even in a headline today from the establishment is, why are newspapers and TV stations letting big tech eat them? Why is Trump allowing that? Because of the lobbyist and the complexity. And when Trump gets something, he understands it and does the right thing. Like, our borders are wide open. 100,000 people every few weeks are coming in. A lot of them are criminals. They're being shipped to mainly red states to turn them blue. Just to make the Democrats stop, ship those people because we don't have any courts left. They're overwhelmed, or any jails. That's why people, why is Trump releasing them? Don't have the money, don't have the funding, don't have the law. Unless he becomes really the commander-in-chief, he could still do something. Not that other emergency he did that was just a law enforcement emergency, but a real national emergency he could. But so far he hasn't. And so the courts are ordering him released. Well, let's release him in Cory Booker's district. Or in California with Governor Newsom. Oh, they're like, oh, that's dangerous. Don't do that. My God, that's terrible. We can't take all these people. Oh, really? But they're coming into the country. You just don't want them targeting you. So I get what Trump's doing. But on this subject, why is Zuckerberg so relaxed? Because big tech wrote these rules with the EU. They're like, oh, don't throw me in that briar patch, Merkel. Oh, don't throw me in that briar patch, Theresa May. Oh, don't throw me in that briar patch, Macron. Don't throw in that briar patch when it's exactly what they want, a merger of big tech with governments and others to be the filters and the arbiters of anything and everything that can be done. And it's extrajudicial, it's extra lawful, and it's usurping due process, it's usurping the courts, it's usurping everything. That's what we're seeing in this age of big corporations. Is take the medical cartel. A lot of great doctors, a lot of great medical breakthroughs, but the corporations running it want total power. So they got laws passed in the 80s that vaccines don't have to get approved and have no liability and are immune. And so they become nightmarishly poisoned and bad. And it's just like governors all over are passing laws where you can keep a baby alive after it's born and sell its organs because we're saying the baby doesn't count. We're not counting it as alive in some legalese. It's all legalese. So big tech's in a power grab. Medical systems are in a power grab. Why is Zuckerberg so relaxed about UK speech online? And you read it, it's because he's being given liability protection for a total takeover. Europe looks to remold internet with new copyright rules where even linking to a story is illegal. Memes are illegal. Everything must be pre-approved through big tech filters. Oh, wait for it. By the big five media social networks. They are the filters that decide through government agreement and through government and Southern Poverty Law Center and Media Matters interface, they will decide what can go out and what can't. Not just on the big platforms, but on your own website. What did a famous conservative say to Matt Drudge 3 years ago that made him come to this office and warn you right in the studio? He said it's over. They plan to use copyright in the EU to regulate the internet, and because our government won't regulate it, it creates a vacuum and the EU will regulate it. That's what I keep saying. Mr. President, you're a nationalist, a constitutionalist, a free market purist. I get it, so am I. But if you're a country of 330 million next to the EU and others of even more, and China of 1.5 billion, and they're expressing authoritarian control over the internet here and over companies here and making them adopt their systems of control and censorship and arresting dissidents, if you don't come in and prohibit and say you're not going to do that, then it lets those companies standardize that. So again, by standing down, by the abdication that's taking place, we're allowing that vacuum that's bringing this in. Here it is. German Data Privacy Commissioner says Article 13 inevitably leads to filters which inevitably lead to an internet oligopoly, a handful of corporations controlling all information as the filter for government. That's all this is big tech being pecked on the head by big government to merge with them in total control. And Zuckerberg is up there ready to get married right now. Who's pitching? Who's catching? I think Zuckerberg's catching, folks. Republicans say Obama administration is giving away the internet. Remember that way back then? Well, that's what President Trump's doing. So do I want to get the president's attention? You're right, I do. This is a live feed. We're going to post this video later to Infowars.com. Treason? Question mark? Does President Trump know he's handing control of the internet over to the EU, the UN, and China? Because it's really happening, and it's all here for everyone to see. It's all confirmed, and all the censorship. Remember Zuckerberg 2 years ago? It's on a hot mic with Merkel of Germany. He says, I don't like people criticizing open borders and the Islamic invasion. He goes, relax, we're going to fix that soon. And we know what the fix is. We've seen it. We know what this tyranny looks like. So we have to put pressure on Trump and talk radio and C-SPAN and members of Congress to say, do you understand? We get, you can have judges argue all day that our government can't regulate the internet. But if the internet's becoming a regulator for the Chi-Coms and the UN and the EU and radical Islam and working with all these Islamic countries to arrest Christians and kill them, you're damn right we've got a stake, because these big tech companies have become cartels of any mafia that'll pay them that they work for and are intelligence crises and national security threats to not just a country, but to the people of the planet.